Lord, thank you for today. Thank you that we've had a good week so far at this time. Please prepare us for this talk tonight, and please prepare us for Saturday when we go out and rally in front of things for it. We pray that we prepare our hearts to hear what you have to say tonight. And amen.
Amen. So I am not Ethan. I will do my best to make it out fun. Welcome to challenge. As always, don't forget to find this time. The sign up sheets you currently don't have tonight. Before you leave. Bible studies still happening. 6:30 on Monday, 7 on Tuesday. Both in first type 140. So definitely make sure to get plugged in with that if you're ready. Tonight we will be hearing from a lady from a pregnancy center in Boulder, who will be telling us kind of about what they do, the services they have, and also how we can get involved. Really excited to have her here tonight. And next week we will also be having a super awesome guest speaker talking about the canonization of Scripture, how we have the Bible that we have today. So you won't want to miss that. Homeless evangelism is still happening, especially nights like tonight, are a really good reminder that there are people who are outside tonight and don't have a roof over their heads. And we have the opportunity to not only provide materially for these people, but also share the gospel with them. So really, anything that you have sitting around, gloves, blankets, bottles of water, Gatorade, toiletries, or if you don't have any of those things you want to get financially, that really does make a huge difference. Anyone who's been out on Saturday can tell you the people they talk to are super grateful to receive these things. So awesome that we have the privilege to participate in that. As Brian mentioned in prayer, we will be having a rally on Saturday. It's not going to be like this big aggressive thing, really. It's an opportunity to pray. A couple people will be there to give out information to talk to people who come, but really it's for us to pray and just kind of show the value that we have for life, that we believe we have biblically based. So if you want to get involved with that, it's not too late. Let someone know or use the person sign up. Also,
yes, also, so you guys know, we do have a Pro Life online campus. So if any of you go to this or want to get involved, they meet Monday night, 7:30 p.m. in the center ballroom. So if you want to be involved with Pro Life Club, I know basically everyone who's in it. You can let me know if you have questions. Feel free to join.
So talk to Aubrey. Like evangelism still just kind of save the date. That's going to be March 13th. It's kind of a chance to do what we do on campus, but out in the community at large. And hopefully, because it's a leisure day and it's a leisure place, people will be more willing to stop and talk with us and have a conversation. So mark the calendars for that. Project Impact, Ethan's mentioned several times. It's a really awesome discipleship training program. Essentially, you get to spend your summer in community with a bunch of other believers, learning about discipleship, what that looks like, evangelism, all these things kind of hands-on in workshops, while also having a full-time job. Super awesome chance to live in super tight-knit Christian community for an entire summer. So definitely reach out to Blakely or just sign up at the website listed up there if you have any interest in that at all. Maybe recommended. Also, Anchor is back. It was canceled most of last semester, but there's a location now, so we're going to be having Anchor, which is essentially just a chance for all of the ministries on campus to come together and worship and fellowship together, get to see what's going on in each other's ministries. It looks a lot like our Wednesday night with the speaker and worship. And so that will be on this Friday at First Baptist Church of Golden, which is right across the street from the lower scale and parking lot. There will be free food at 5:45 and speaker and worship at 7. So definitely be on the lookout for that. They have to do an RSVP for like food counts and stuff. So I'll be sending that out in the calendar tonight. If you're interested, definitely sign up. And with that, let's welcome Connie.
Hi. So can everybody hear me okay? Great. Well, my name's Connie Weiskopf. I am with the Boulder Pregnancy Resource Center. We are the only alternative in Boulder offering a Christian response to unplanned pregnancies, adoption, parenting support, and we have been open since July 1st of 2019. We responded because there was no alternative in Boulder for about 5 years. The last pregnancy care center in Boulder had closed their doors, and Boulder and the community surrounding Boulder um, had has probably three of the largest abortion providers in the United States. And God placed us 3 blocks away from the late term abortionist. If people don't know, Colorado was the first state to ever legalize abortion. And Boulder was the first place to ever have an abortion clinic. And it was originally about 2 doors down from where God has placed us now in Boulder. We reach students, people in the community, professionals. Our clients are an array of people, so it's not just the students. My youngest client was 11. My oldest client was 54. The 11-year-old was pregnant, and the 54-year-old was not. But we're there so that they have a place of hope, a place of support that's non-judgmental. So we offer free pregnancy tests, free ultrasounds. We actually have a 4D ultrasound machine, since women can come and terminate their children up to 9 months in the state of Colorado. And again, that provider is just 3 blocks away from us. So we are there to help bring hope and support to them for as long as they need us. We do free diapers and wipes and brand new clothing. We have what I call love gifts, because this is a place where um, people can come that, this isn't just about their unplanned pregnancy. This is about them and their lives and making choices for their future so that they are thriving and prospering and not just getting by. So we help also with college grants and making sure they're staying in school, giving them that support wherever is needed. If we don't offer it or have it, we're going to find somebody who does, whether it's housing or clothing, um, even a car or eyeglasses. We just recently got a client some eyeglasses, and it made all the difference in the world for them to be able to carry this baby to term. We never know what the crisis is for a couple or a young woman when they come into our center. And so just to meet them where they are, listen to them, and support them in every way that we can. Our ultrasound, as many of you know, is a huge piece of what pregnancy care centers do. We offer that so that they can see that this is a baby, that 87% of those who were considering terminating a child choose life after they see that baby on an ultrasound. And so we love to do that piece as well, to let them see that this isn't just a blob of tissue, it is a life. They don't always choose life. And so when women and men make a decision to terminate a child, we're there for them as well, offering healing and support afterwards. We just call it our post-abortion healing classes. We either work one-on-one or in groups. We also have our fatherhood lost classes, which are run by the men in our ministry. So this isn't just about women, this because it takes a woman and a man to conceive. So we want to make sure that we're reaching the men in our community and with our clients too. So we encourage them to come in, bring their significant even. So we want to be able to offer support for them. Uh, and if I lose you guys on cable, I'll hopefully get back in. Sometimes it's kind of unstable. We got some big winds going on up here. I live in Firestone, and there's some winds coming on. I grew up just down the road from you guys over there in Mines, though. Grew up in Arvada and then moved over to the Western Slope. So I love Golden and that area and miss it. But God has me in Boulder and in this area to minister to those in need. And Right now, we're also trying to get a student org on the CU Boulder campus so that we can reach many campuses as well. We want to be able to, those campuses that are close by us, even Golden, a lot of those students, there's not a pregnant any closer than Evergreen to you guys. I'm not sure if Alternatives is closer to you guys, but I know we have students from
Oh, it looks like she got dropped out of the
Official.
meeting. We should be back.
I'm back. Can everybody hear me now? Am I back on with
Yeah.
everyone? Awesome. I'm not sure where I lost you guys, but again, our connection up here goes in and out sometimes. So sorry about that. Happens in our office too, up in Boulder. It's just this corridor, I think. Sometimes that happens here. But again, we reach students all over the Front Range and Golden. We've had students from Cheyenne coming into the center as well as professionals from all over. Sometimes they don't like to stay in their own area. And so they will travel to our center to get the support and that they need. I'm not sure if everybody heard me that we want to start a student org on the CU Boulder campus so that we can reach more. And so if any of you know any students on the campus there, I need 3 students to start our student org. We need them to be full-time students. They don't have to stay with the organization, but they need to start it. And so that we have that presence on the campus reaching those 34,000 students or however many's there right now. I know there's a lot of students who are not meeting in classrooms, but I know some of the freshmen are and some of those other students are, and then the others are meeting on Zoom and online, but we still want to have that presence even online with them. We're trying to reach out with more social media. We want them to know about us before they go someplace else for that support. We want them to know that it is a safe place and that they will get the support that they need, however long. Again, I often say we'll be there as long as as long as that baby even reaches 120, but I won't be there. So whoever is there reaching out, we in the centers to help. Again, I never want this area to not be able to support this pregnancy care center, offering that hope for them. We also, again, do the post-abortion healing with the men as well. A gentleman by the name of Warren Williams heads that piece. And we have them also meeting with the men, teaching them how to be good fathers. Sometimes women choose abortion because of fear, and lack of support from the father and from their community or from family. And so to encourage the fathers to be a part of that, but to know that we're there to support them as well in the midst of an unplanned pregnancy. We want them to feel comfortable. A lot of the clients, when, our centers are purposely made to feel comfortable so that they walk in and they feel like they're kind of at home. And we often have clients say, I just kind of want to hang out here. And that's what we want. We want them to feel comfortable enough in the midst of a crisis. And we often say that a baby is not a crisis, but the woman or the man feels like it's a crisis. And so we want to meet them where they're at, offering free clothing and services and anything that we can in that time. We also are looking to start going into the school systems, middle schools, high schools, and we need younger students to do that. I'm too old. I don't want to be that person, although sometimes they listen to us grandmas, but we want to train up some students to be able to just talk about healthy relationships. We can't talk about Jesus in the public schools, whether it's on Zoom or live, but we can bring a biblical moral picture of what a healthy relationship looks like to them so that they can, um, again, their lives are prospering and we want to be able to be a piece of that too in the future. We're also thinking of adding STD testing. We've talked about this extensively. Boulder County actually has one of the highest rates of chlamydia and gonorrhea in the nation. And, you know, sex outside of the marriage covenant isn't free. There's a cost to it, and it's 9 times higher than the national average in the Boulder County. I don't know what it is in the Jefferson County area, but I'm going to bet it's pretty high as well. Colorado has a pretty high rate of STDs, and we just want them to be healthy and strong and prospering again. So we're looking at that, and it will just probably be for our clients. We won't open that up to be an STD clinic because we want our clinic to be a pregnancy care center, and that would just include that as well to make sure that they're healthy, carrying these babies to term. We also do fundraisers. So we just finished our first 5 fundraiser events last year, and we did a golf tournament up at Top Golf. So we're always looking for volunteers to help us in those events. It happened to be one below the morning I got there. I lived in Gunnison, Colorado for many years, so it wasn't bad for me, but I was cheering on those golfers who came out. Even though part of it's indoors, you're still hitting outdoors. So it was about 0 degrees. So we might call it the polar benefit next year or something and encourage people to come out and play. But we have to raise money to do what we do. So we need volunteers to help with that. We have did a gala last year, and this year we did a no-show gala, and that was quite successful. So just raising money so that we can reach more and more people with the message of hope and healing and help during an unplanned or a unwanted pregnancy. We also need volunteers to just reach out and be that voice for us as far as in your community. We want you to maybe, if you know somebody who, a friend who has a family member or knows somebody who's experiencing an unplanned pregnancy and maybe even considering abortion, that you would let them know that we're there to help them. If people don't have transportation, we're willing to even, do Uber drives, Uber for them when they, deliver their babies. And if they just need that transportation, we have donors who have been willing to step forward and offer that as well for our clients. Transportation and housing seem to be two of the biggest things that face some of the women and men that we meet with. We also just want to make sure that they have that proper housing. The housing population or the homeless population right now in Boulder County and across Colorado is huge. And so to connect them to the resources that they're going to need. And so we also need volunteers who do research for us that, here's some more resources for these clients that you're seeing that you may not know about. Here's a resource in the Golden area or someplace, that's close by us that our clients are coming from that need those resources. Sometimes, I mean, we have books, a book of, resources that we can use to reach our clients and help them with. But sometimes somebody else knows something I don't know. Again, transportation, COVID has kind of put a roadblock in some of the resources that we've been able to offer them, but not impossible. It just takes us a little longer sometimes to find the housing and things that they need because it is a real challenge sometimes when a girl finds herself pregnant. Families does sometimes say, you know what, if you carry this baby, you're out. And we recently had that happen with a young mom who was 8 months pregnant, and her family said, if you terminate this child, we'll be happy to help you pay for that. But if you keep this child, carry this baby to term, you're out. We're kicking you out. And somebody brought her, a friend brought her to our center, and she said to us for the first time, she had hope because we were on the phone finding her a place to live. We were finding her the resources, and within that day, within about 4 hours, we had her packed up and she was moving into a new place. And she decided then, of course, to carry that baby and has given birth. So to have those kinds of things, we have students and churches and organizations who host baby bottle drives for us, and that's just filling baby bottles with change so that we can again provide the services and the things that we do for the clients. We have them hosting baby showers, so diapers and baby clothes and things like that that are sometimes fun to buy to offer our clients as well. And again, we offer love gifts every time client comes through our doors. They're going to get a gift from us. And I call it a love gift because our Christ is all about loving on those who are in need, and that's what we get to do. So it's just something special. So volunteers and others put together love gifts, and it's just a bag filled with personal items for her and for the significant other, the gentleman that hopefully is with her. Um, Scrunches, bubble baths, nail kits, combs. I always ask the guys, what do you guys want? And they're like, deodorant and combs. And I'm like, what else do you want? So if you guys come up with something fun that, just would be a blessing to the men that come into the center too. Us women know what women feel blessed by personally, but sometimes we don't always know what you guys want. So if you have any suggestions, we would love to hear that too. I know we're going to leave some time too for just some questions for anybody that wants to ask those questions to us. Again, we're not real political in what we do. Again, this is a moral and biblical issue, not a political issue with unplanned pregnancies. And so I'm never going to stand on a corner and hold up ugly pictures or that. I want to be a safe place for men and women to come when they're in need and they're facing a challenge. We also have counseling for men and women who, there's only really three choices when you find yourself in an unplanned pregnancy. I often say, I wish there were four because it's not easy especially a young couple is experiencing an unplanned pregnancy. Um, you can either parent that child, choose someone else to parent your child for you, or terminate that child. And we, of course, don't refer for abortions, nor do we do those. And so we really only think there's two. The last stat that I just looked up, 2 million families are waiting to adopt a child. And that's a child of any gender, nationality, or challenge. And so women, in the United States, we're aborting 1 million babies a year. And so families are waiting on that waiting list to parent that woman's child. That's probably the most sacrificial thing a woman can do. And a young man. We just had a 14-year-old couple who chose to have somebody else, another couple, parent their child for them. And it really was just a tender, beautiful time because this little young couple wanted to parent, but they knew in their hearts after meeting with us that, we just shared their options with them. This is what you guys can do, and it's up to you what you want to do. And they chose adoption, and they knew that it was the best choice for their child, even though they wanted to make that choice of parenting. And so it really was beautiful and tender, but it was really a hard decision for them to come to that conclusion. And we got to do an ultrasound for them with the adoptive family as well as the birth family and the young couple. And again, that was really hard, but it was really beautiful. And we try to we'll do everything again we do is free, confidential. Although I am required to report anything, Colorado is also a huge state for human trafficking, and so we keep our eyes open for that, as well as abuse, things that go on, that so we can protect these men and women too from anything that from abuse of any kind, rape, that we need to report as well. I'm a victim of rape, and that was probably part of the reason why I do what I do. I dated a gentleman briefly for just a couple times and decided it wasn't a good fit, and he didn't like that, and broke into my home and raped me at gunpoint, and I became pregnant. And at the time, I was just out of college, and I was told that this would be the best decision for me, would be to terminate that child. And so I made that choice, and it changed my heart. And so what happens is 10 negative things happened, and my baby wasn't the problem. And so just years of learning that, first of all, God forgave me, but I couldn't forgive myself for making that decision, even in a situation that it was. Nobody counseled me of my choices. They just said, this is what you need to do. And so we get to counsel and encourage women to know that there's hope, and that there's healing, and that there's support for them for as long as they need us, and for the men that are alongside of them. We, again, have only been there for a short time, since July of 2019, and we're getting busier every day. We just are going through another volunteer training right now. We train our volunteers extensively to be able to counsel and meet with these clients. We do also have licensed counselors that we can refer our clients to, biblical counselors that are free, that have decided that they would meet with our clients free of charge, pro bono, which is huge, because some of the clients that we see have just a little bit more challenges than we have the expertise to do, things like cutting or just, homelessness even, and that is coming upon them. But, hopefully helping them along the way as much as we possibly can. I don't know how you guys want to work this, with any questions. Seeing any feedback? Am I still on?
Can we do a question?
I mean, yeah, if you have want us, or like are offering to answer questions, then you can just do kind of Q&A style from here.
I am having a hard time understanding through the internet tonight, so I didn't. That was just garbled. I'm sorry.
If you're open to taking questions now, we can ask whatever questions we have.
Can you guys do it on the chat?
Or we could use the microphone.
Can you hear us now?
That's a little clearer, yeah.
Okay, yeah, so if anyone has any questions, just come up to the front, or if you don't feel comfortable coming up to the front, I can ask the question.
Hi, Connie. Thanks for talking to us tonight. I had heard that in a lot of cases in abortion, it's the cases where the partner is either coercing or forcing the woman to get it. Is that true? Or what's the statistic for that?
I think it's about 67% of the women that have been interviewed say 67%, I'm pretty sure it is, have said that they felt coerced by someone to terminate their child. And typically it is the significant other, the boyfriend or the husband, who is doing that coercing.
So how do you feel the argument then works with women's rights if most of the time it's not the woman making the choice?
Say the first part of that question again.
How would you feel the argument works then with it being a women's rights issue if most of the time it's not the woman making the choice?
Yeah, first of all, I don't try to get into arguments, but to just let them know that, it is her choice, but an unplanned pregnancy affects everybody around you. It's not just you. And again, we know that it's not her body and that it's a separate human life that she is bringing forth with its own DNA. We try to educate more so than anything what we do at our centers, educating them on their choices, but letting them see that this is a baby, from conception, showing them their baby on an ultrasound and talking to them about, again, it is their right in the United States to make that choice. But again, coercion, we try to meet with them one-on-one and not bring the other partner in when we very first start to meet with them, because if a woman is being coerced or threatened in any way, she's not going to share that if that person is sitting there next to her. So if he's with her when they come to the center, or if we're talking to them on the streets even, it's like, you're more than welcome to come in on your own and discuss this with us in a safe place. I hope that answered your question.
All right, thanks a lot. Thanks.
Thank you so much. So, any other questions? So again, the way you guys can get involved with the center is, through your support, baby bottle campaign, just sharing with others that there are a lot of times people don't know that there's someplace else besides the abortion providers and that we are there to help them. And again, there are plants out there that try to give pregnancy care centers a bad name, that we coerce women into making a choice. And I often say we are the pro-choice, because what we do is educate women and men on their choices so that they can make an informed choice. And we know that God says that my people perish for lack of knowledge. And so if we can share and educate men and women on pregnancy and the life of their baby and what abortion looks like, what parenting might look like, or choosing somebody else, they can make an informed decision about their life and the life of their child. Where when they go oftentimes to the abortion providers, they're only hearing one choice. So we are pro-choice, and our Jesus is pro-choice. He gives us a free will and a choice, but he wants us to know the truth, and the truth that sets us free. But it's only what we know that can set us free. Any other? Again, if anybody knows any students at CU that are full-time to help us start that student org, would be fabulous.
Hi, Connie, can you hear me?
I can. You're a little garbled to me, but
What does it look like, or kind of what is the process for volunteering actually at the center? Like, how do you guys get volunteers from? What does time commitment look like? What kinds of things do you have your volunteers at the center actually doing?
we have volunteers. So we do send the volunteers that meet with our clients go through a 21-hour training course. And that's because we want them to feel empowered and equipped to talk about these issues, whether it's STDs or, abortion or parenting. So it's 21 hours. It's some people take our training just so they are equipped to be able to talk, to somebody standing in the grocery line in front of them. We have places in the center that people volunteer, just administratively, tech-wise, social media. We have volunteers who help with just events. So we'd like to start, doing like some walks, but we're thinking of just partnering like with the Boulder. So we need volunteers to help set up teams and, maybe just even be a part of that. But to help be the person who hands out water for Boulder Pregnancy Resource Center, the bike to work days. So we always are needing volunteers to help with that. We do like you to be a little equipped, um, just so that if somebody does ask you about the center or that you feel equipped to do that. But those that go through the 21-hour training, um, those are the ones who are meeting one-on-one with our clients. And that's men too. We have, again, Warren Williams is the one who mostly trains the men more extensively. I have two men right now in the training that I'm hosting. And they're actually taking it with their wives side by side so that they both can then volunteer with us. We have about 10 volunteers right now training that we have going right now. We had 18 in our first training and 20 in our second training. And a lot of them were in the center and working with our events and that before COVID. And then COVID hit, and a lot of the volunteers, some of them have moved away. Some are just not comfortable coming into the center, even though we try to limit the number, of course, depending on the mandates during COVID. Right now, we wipe the center down. We always wear masks during, any time when clients are more than two people are in the center. When it's just myself and my center director, I don't wear a mask. And I'm usually in my office though if we don't have a client. So we feel safe doing that. But we try to make sure that everybody feels safe. If a volunteer wants to come in and wear the mask the entire time, that's perfectly fine with gloves as well. So we always want to make everybody feel safe. And of course, we always wear the mask and gloves and stuff when we have clients, and again, wipe the center down and when they leave, and just make sure they feel comfortable. Any other questions? Again, I've been doing this for about 15 years in the Pregnancy Care Center. I have a background as an educator, but as an artist, author, and a speaker. And so when God called me to do this 15 years ago, I told him no. And because I had a career and God was blessing my art, I was able to sell my art and have shows in galleries. Actually showed several times at the Foothills Gallery up there in Golden, and with the Watercolor Society, and that I'm a watercolorist. But I really thought it was just going to be a temporary thing. I still do my art, and I still do reading and speaking, and just finished illustrating a children's book about pack mules. It's a history book, and that was kind of fun. But God called me to do this, and I will tell you that I had no clue what I was getting into when God asked me to be a director of a pregnancy care center. And I will say, when God calls you to do something, he equips you. And he just said, I'll give you what you need today, Connie, to do what I've called you to do. And no matter what you guys, what God is calling you guys to do, he equips us for every, in that moment of what we need, and what he provides for us. When, again, God said to open a center in Boulder. Boulder's one of the most expensive places, most liberal places in Colorado. And but if God's going to provide, and he did just start providing for us by somebody donating our ultrasound machine and flooring for our ultrasound room and furniture and the things that we were going to need. It's just so fun when God calls you to something and you say yes to it. It's as hard a work as this is. I can say that I drive to work with just pure joy, knowing what I get to do for our Lord every day. is an honor. I'm humbled that he has asked me to do this. And if he's called you to, whatever he's calling you to do, um, again, I say no often to him, but I always go home and pray. And then the answer is always yes to him. And his answers to us are yes and amen as well. So again, if you're feeling called to volunteer in any way or just to help us in some little way with, doing a baby shower and buying baby clothes for the moms or a car seat or something, it's pretty powerful when a young woman who has nothing gets brand new clothing that are beautiful for this child. It's just honoring. We don't give away anything that's used. We give away brand new things. She can go down the street and get something that's used from the thrift store, but we want to honor her and this child by giving brand new, beautiful things to her and the significant other. And another piece, we always share the gospel. When I decided to take this job, whenever possible, Christ comes into it, and He's all over. Hopefully, that they feel the Lord when they walk into our centers, and they know that we are believers. We just had our first client who got baptized during COVID. We had just been loving on her, giving clothes is loving on our clients through the love of Christ. And she, began to ask us, what's different about you guys? And we got to share with her Christ. And she called us up one day and just said, I need what you guys have. And I want to be baptized. And so to try and call around and find somebody who would baptize her during COVID, we got her in 3 days to be able to do that. And it was just beautiful. The last center that I was with, 86 women gave their lives to Christ the last year that I was there. So we know that saving their baby's great, but saving them is what really matters and what will change their lives for now and eternity. And so we always want to be able to refer them to, organizations and groups where they can be discipled more, churches that are in their areas. And so that's another thing you guys can do for us is to help us to know what churches that you guys are affiliated with or organizations or just even the Christian Challenge if I have a student from that area or that to be able to have the information in my hand to give to them to say this is a group of amazing young youth that can just come alongside of you and encourage you in the place you're at now and encourage you in your walk with the Lord and or lead them to the Lord. But that I when I was asked to start this center by Christ and by the board that we have, I said I won't do it unless Christ is always number one in our center. Doesn't mean I get to talk about him all the time, but we sure get to show him all the time. So we do have Bible studies. We haven't had any yet, but we're ready to have them if any clients ever wanted to do them. But we really want to get them involved in the local churches and organizations like Christian Challenge and the organizations, the faith-based organizations on campus. Seeing if I forget anything. I could talk about what we get to do for a long time just because I am so passionate about this. I wish somebody had told me about a pregnancy care center when I found myself in that position. But so I want everybody to know that we're there. And yeah, I don't want to go over my time either. And so I want to just say thank you to you. If anybody has any more questions, you can reach, our website is just boulderpregnancyresourcecenter.com. Our number is 303-960-7915. If you want to talk to me personally, you can call that number. I'm usually the one that's answering right now. And, or you can email me at Boulder Pregnancy Resource Center. And I know Blakely and that can get you in touch with me as well. in the center, if you guys want to, help us out in any way, or even just be praying, for our clients and for the center. It's so important to be just covered in prayer for these clients. I usually send out prayer requests when we know that we have a client who is abortion determined, but God has brought her to the center. And I'm like, God brought her here. There's always hope that she will see that she can carry this baby to term with support and help. So again, I want to just say thank you guys for having me, letting me come and share. Love School of Minds. Love what you guys are doing with Christian Challenge, to encourage one another in the Lord. So keep going. God bless you guys.
Thank you so much, Ronnie, for taking the time to talk with us and answering our questions. Like she said, if anyone has any further questions or things they want to ask, definitely reach out. Thank you so much for your time tonight. We really appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate you guys.
Well, thank you everyone for coming for kind of our scheduled guest speaker night. Stay warm, stay safe, and we'll see you all next week, if not Friday or Saturday. You are dismissed. Of course, stick around and talk if you would like to.
Well, yesterday I didn't. Well, yesterday I didn't have work there. But, yeah, I was planning. Yeah, okay. I was planning on leaving at 5 today, and then right at 5, one of the guys was like, I was on a meeting with the guy who's like, hey, I'm not in the office, like it's done.